Okay, welcome to issue Fuck You, Eat Shit. This one is complicated, and I just read up about it. Well, I didn't read everything I could because the pages were not loading, so that was fun. So I just read the basic synopsis to just refresh my memory. Cause this one, man, fuck this one. Fuck this one. So, issue number 2. We're still in 2005. We have not yet left 2005. I have found that it is extremely difficult to leave 2005. So, episode so I'm not gonna, when I talk about these, I'm just gonna go through them. I'm not gonna delineate when they get separated. So this is episode 6, Ancient Prophecy. It is spelled with a chew in the middle, like Sonichu. This is everyone always forgets that that's the joke. So I have to explain the joke because no one ever gets it for some reason. Everyone's always like, oh, I never realized that that's why. Yes, it's chew in the middle because it's Sonichu. It's actually one of Quick's only good puns. So, props. You made one good joke ever. And then episode 7, Chaos and Serenity. That one's not a pun, that's just some words. And then episode number 8, The Evil That Stomped Quickville. It feels like that title is a parody of something, but then it's a parody of nothing. So, that's pretty great. Alright, so, the story starts off in the most boring and awful way ever. Chris and Sonichu are just taking a walk, taking a random, waltz about the town, and they just somehow happen across this super secret cave that no one has ever taken a walk past before, and they just happen to be on a Sunday stroll, and they come upon this place. And outside this place is a rock, but once they get close enough, it turns out that the rock is just an old guy with really long gray hair, dressed in all gray, so he looks like a rock. Which is actually a little bit funny. In the early comics, Chris has some moments, and you'll notice, the stories, well, they're shittily written and shittily drawn. They do have structure, and they do completely explain themselves. Some stuff just doesn't make sense, but, it makes an effort to, be, I completely lost my words, but, it explains itself, and it, tries to not be consistent, but, just, make sure everything's understandable. It's pretty understandable, except for the parts where there's huge text walls and the speech bubbles, you can't tell what order they're supposed to be in. But other than that, it's pretty easy to explain. I mean, an idiot like me can explain it, so yeah. Anyways, so the old guy's oh, hey, are you the guys from the prophecy? And they're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, come on inside this cave and I'll show you. And they go in the cave, and in the cave is a prophecy written in hieroglyphs on the wall. Is it written in hieroglyphs or is it just normal? I think it's hieroglyphs. And then the old guy reads the prophecy, and I don't remember the exact wording, but it's basically some shit so a dude's gonna walk past this place, and he's gonna have made a yellow mouse. And when the yellow mouse and the creator come in here, give the power of the habit. But when this dude gets his power unlocked, it also unlocks the power of complete serenity and complete chaos. So they'll have to work together to defeat an evil or some shit. So basically, Chris is getting powers because, so they're like, okay, so how do I get the powers? And there's this carving out in this pedestal. There's a stone pedestal, and there's a carved portion. And it is carved in the exact shape as Chris's medallion. Now, this medallion is a real thing that exists in real life. So, it is made out of Crayola model fucking magic. And it's a Sonichu head. I'm pretty sure she still wears it. The medallion, over time, has several times been stolen or bamboozled away and destroyed, burned. At one point, Quick got convinced to put it up her ass. That's real. Please don't look for pictures. There are pictures. Don't look for them, please. But anyway, yeah. So, the medallion is real, made out of Crayola model fucking magic. And so Chris in the comic takes this and puts it in the pedestal where it is the perfect shape, somehow predicted, and it gets magic in it, and then puts it back on. And the old guy is like, alright, you got the power now. You released the power. Yeah. And Chris is like, okay, how do I do it? And the guy's like, I don't know. I guess touch the medallion. Or, no, wait. It doesn't get told. It's just like, okay, I got powers. How do I do it? And then just like, I think Sonichu reaches out and pats Chris on the chest, which is the weirdest thing. Like, you did it, and pats the medallion, and when you touch the medallion, that triggers a transformation sequence where Chris turns into a Sonichu. Chris becomes Chris Chan Sonichu, which is a blue Sonichu, making it only a half a step away from just being fucking Sonic. And there's actually a ruff of white fur where the medallion would rest. So there's like markings in the shape of the medallion, which I actually think is pretty cool. Like, on one hand, objectively, the Chris Chan Sonichu design is dog shit. But on the other hand, the Chris Chan Sonichu design is a masterpiece. I really can't decide. So, yes. And, so Chris has the powers. And so then Chris goes out of the cave with Sonichu and is like, let's practice my new abilities. And they practice running fast and zapping to the extreme and a ton of shit in a meadow. Now, cut to somewhere else. As you remember from the prophecy, 2 other powers have been unleashed. Who do you think these powers are going to? It is not any character that has been revealed so far. These are going to completely new characters that we will see for this storyline, and then briefly for 2 seconds up here, and then never again. Literally never again. They disappear. So, first off, one of the powers goes to, I'm debating, we're just going to say Sarah. I'm not going to say her full name, even though it is easily accessible, but I will call her Sarah because I don't feel like coming up with a different name. And Sarah is based on a person in real life that Chris Chan knows. Knows, whatever. Sarah is based on a lady who, when they were both children, lived next door to Chris Chan and was a playmate, but was probably most likely a bully, because she locked Quick under a house one time and also tried to give Quick a honeysuckle flower. And if you don't know about honeysuckles, I'm not actually sure if it's an urban legend or not, but the legend is that if you eat the tip of a honeysuckle flower, you'll get, like, super sick and maybe die. So, she was probably a bully to Chris. And I'm not gonna, like, be like, oh, fuck her, you know, why even, how could you be so mean to a young child like that? Because she was also a young child, and that's shitty, but, like, she was probably 5 at the time, so don't do that. But she was 5 or 6 or 7, you know. But anyways, so Sarah moved away and they didn't see each other for a while. But then they had another run-in or something, or they were friends on Facebook or something. And so Chris Chan remembered, oh, we used to be friends when we were kids. I have to become obsessed with you immediately because I've heard you have a boyfriend and I need to make sure I get in there. So, so Sarah is in a bedroom that definitely does not look like her real life bedroom, probably, and is covered in pink and girly stuff. And she's laying on her bed, and then suddenly this power comes to her, like, whoosh! Oh, man! Oh! I forgot something, but I'll get through these introductions first. But I forgot something very important and very bad. Okay, so the power comes to her, and she gets it, and it gives her these bracers that when you click them together, I think they make lightning, and they also let her draw a magic bow, which is kind of cool, but I also think that Chris Chan stole it from something. I don't really know. She gets these bracers, and she also gets the power to turn into Sarama Rosachu. Yes, he gave his childhood friend, who he hasn't talked to since they were like 8, a persona. Anyways, and then the last one, she got the power of serenity, and this next person gets the power of chaos. His name is Wes, and he is also based on a real person. So, Wes is Sarah's real life husband, I think? No, wait, I think they dated and I don't know. It's none of our business. They were dating at the time that Chris Chan made this comic. So, since he was dating Sarah, Quick did not like him because he wanted to be the one that was dating Sarah. And he was a magician, so like a stage magician, like pull the rabbit out of the hat, here's a bundle of flowers, you know, stuff like that. So there's a lot of jokes about being a magician in this, because that's pretty much, Wes is dating Sarah, he's a stage magician. That's pretty much the only things that we know about him. That's pretty much it. And that's all you need to know about him, because this is none of our business. This is just stuff that is relevant to know for the comic. Because it's important you know that these were real people, and this is just not just some crap that Chris made up. Because this will become sort of the building blocks of the rest of the comic. Taking experiences from real life and turning them into comic, you know, fictionalizations of reality. So, yes, and so he gets he also gets a medallion. He gets the Black-Chu medallion, which is the same as the Sonichu medallion, but it's black. But yeah, so he gets a Black-Chu medallion, which is so weird because it makes him seem more like in line with this. No, he doesn't get the Black-Chu medallion because Natsar gets the whatever. What does he get? A crown? Oh, I don't know. Wes gets something. It doesn't matter. We won't really see him again after this. So he gets the something, and it lets him turn into Wesley Sonichu. And he's an orange one, and he's mean, and he can do fire powers. Anyways, okay, so that's all of that's our 3 heroes set up. Chris Chan, Sarama, and Wesley. Chaos, Serenity, and I guess Balance or something. I don't know. I don't know what Chris is. Chris is Chris. So, backtracking. So, when each of these heroes got their thingy, got their bracers or their necklace or whatever they got, when they got it, they also had a vision. I forgot to mention this, but I wanted to get through all of them and then go back and tell you about this. So they all had a vision, and they went into this white void, and they came face to face with the spirit of one of their ancestors, and their ancestor also had this power in the past, and all of these people are descended from these other 3 fated heroes. They are, for some reason, Native Americans. Chris is descended from the chief of the Cherokee clan. Sarah is descended from the queen of the Cherokee tribe. And Sarah is descended from the queen of the Cherokee tribe. Yes, it is weird. And also, all of these people look exactly like their descendants. Like, Mr. Cherokee Chief looks the same as Chris, except for in golden Roman armor for some reason. It does not make any sense. He's a white guy with heterochromia with golden Roman armor who is apparently supposed to be a chief of the Cherokee tribe. It is extremely deeply tone deaf and doesn't make any sense at all. And yeah, and the queen of the Cherokee tribe looks exactly like Sarah. And I think she's in some sort of weird dress thing. Doesn't look like a Native American whatsoever. And then Wes is descended from the chief of the Wasabi clan. And I'm not really sure what that's supposed to be. I think that is also another Native American tribe that was made up because the Wasabi and the Cherokee were deathly enemies, and their rivalry caused the death of both sides. So you gotta work together, and you can't let this animosity keep you from working together, because otherwise you're gonna kill each other. But it's also like, the Wasabi clan sounds like a villain group in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What are you talking about? Also, if Chris and Sarah are descended from the king and the queen of the... But if they're descended, wouldn't that mean that Chris and Sarah are related? And so they shouldn't... That if they got together, it'd be incest? Because if they're Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? It's weird. The whole thing is weird. It's all weird and it's all bad. So, yeah, so Chris has this mind journey where he talks to himself, but Roman, and he says, you can do it, sport. You are destined to be with Sarah. Spoilers, he absolutely wasn't. He hasn't talked to Sarah in years, as far as we know, but she definitely has not mentioned Sarah at all. Anyways, and Sarah goes on a mind journey and talks to herself, but with way too much fabric on, wearing like a bed sheet, and she says, "You've got to just find your inner peace. Also, break up with your boyfriend." And then Wes goes on a mind journey into the void, and he talks to himself, but with a huge, huge stupid hat on. Christ. So just like this huge, dumb hat that's on fire. And his ancestor says, yeah, so killing each other would be bad, but also, like, fuck your enemies. Go kill Chris. Kill Chris. Trust me. I'm completely sane. Look at my huge hat. Anyways, so Wes has the powers, and he immediately uses them to turn into Wesley Sonichu, and he's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go kill Chris. So he goes out, and he goes on top of this hill to, like, scout out and see if Chris is around and available to be murdered. And the cliff is overlooking the meadow that Sonichu and Chris are training in. So he's like, hell yeah. And he has fire powers, right? So he summons a big fireball and he just throws it at him. And, what happens? I think Chris dodges it. And, Sarama is also powered up. And she can use her bracers to do anything. She can do whatever she wants. Technically, with all the powers that she has, she doesn't need these other two bozos. She could just save the world by herself. Like, she has so many. So, she uses her bracers to listen in to the conversation that's happening, where Wes is doing some sort of villain rant at Chris, and is like, hey, you're creeping on my girlfriend, so I'm going to murder you about it. And Chris is like, why are you so mean to me? I'm just her friend. She's just my gal pal. I don't mean anything by it at all. And I didn't make us fated to be husband and wife in my comic at all. And Wes is like, I'm mean for no reason because I'm an asshole. So I'm going to kill you for sitting on my girlfriend's lap, I think. So I'm going to kill you for that. And so they fight a little bit, and I think it gets to the point where Wes Lee is like got Chris Chan on the ropes, but then with a magic bow, Sarama, gosh, I forgot her name. Sarama hits Wesley with an arrow right here, and there's a convenient tree nearby, and it pins him to the tree. And if you've seen certain anime, this sounds like a reference. It is a reference to Inuyasha, because in the sky in the clouds, there's a really shittily drawn Inuyasha face in the clouds. So Wes is pinned to the tree, and Sarah says, what the fuck? Don't murder people. That's definitely a deal breaker. I'm definitely breaking up with you. What the hell? Also, you're so mean to my dear friend, Chris. How can you be mean to him? I don't want to date a meanie, so we're over, fool. But also, both of you shut up and stop fighting, because we gotta go save the city. And Wes is like, no! And Chris is like, shut up, fool. I also had my heart shattered on previous occasions, even down to 0%, but I still got back up, so come on, you gotta get back up too. Recovery is linear, and I'm urging you to do it immediately. So it pulls out the arrow, and it falls down from the tree and goes, huh. But over there in the city, there's a big fucking something. It's like a robot, I guess. So they go to the city, and here it is the time for me to remind you of a fact. Do you remember the name of the dean from Piedmont, Virginia Community College? I told you it would be important 2 episodes ago. Do you remember the name of the dean from the college that Christine went to? Her name is Mary Lee Walsh. So out in the city over there, there's this big robot. And this robot has been summoned by this witch. This evil, evil witch who has actually been featured in some other stuff that I'm going to be getting to later. So this is not technically her first appearance, but it is her first appearance in the comic proper. So this evil witch also wields an evil wand that is full of an evil spirit that talks to her and also has its own consciousness. And they're just kind of a team. The witch is mainly in control because she's like a person, and the staff is usually not because it's a staff. But the witch's name is Slawil Rayam, and the wand's name is Count Graduan. This is the absolute 100% real explanation for these names. Slawil Rayam, Mary Lee Walsh. It's Mary Lee Walsh backwards. It's the same trick that Chris did with Nate Cirque. Slawil Rayam is Mary Lee Walsh. I think, actually, in the comic, it used to literally be just Mary Lee Walsh was her name. No. Yes? I don't know. But due to, Shigeru Miyamoto telling Chris to do it, later on, Chris went back through the comics and changed a few things. Yes, that is real-ish. Yes, we will get to it, but not right now. Just take it and keep it in your brain. So, Slawil Rayam is the dean of the college, but made into an evil witch. Count Graduan is literally the spirit of the day that Chris graduated from high school. That was the saddest day of her life. She literally ran out of the graduation ceremony crying, because she was so sad to have to leave high school because she had such a good time in high school, apparently. So, the dean of the college and the spirit of graduating from high school go and make some fucking robot in the city, and some girl that bullied Chris when they were kids and her stage magician boyfriend and Chris have to go defeat the robot. Do you understand why I love Sonichu so much? It is only in this comic where such weird bullshit can happen. The combination of factors here is just, it's nothing else. It's nothing else. So anyways, they go to the city and they combine their powers and they become a triple scoop ice cream cone and they fuck up the robot and they win. And that's, yeah. And at the end, they turn back into people, but they retain their powers. Wes is dumped, and he crows off into the sunset crying. And Sarah says, "It was nice to see you again, Chris. Maybe we could talk again sometime." He's, I think Chris says, "Are you single?" or something like that. And I think okay, so even though it's coded that Chris really likes Sarah, Chris found out at this time that Sarah had already started dating someone else. So they don't start dating in this comic. That would still be, it's still pretty weird, but it's not as weird as it could be. Because I think, oh, it doesn't matter. But, so Sarah says, "Stay in touch. We really should be better friends. I gotta go date this other guy, but bye." And he says, "Bye." And then at the end, there's like this letter, that was actually sent to Sarah, I think, about like, "I loved being friends with you. I loved when we played hide and seek, and you would lock me in places, and I would cry for hours. It was so much fun." But, yes. And I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting, but it's probably just an ad spot. At the ends of some of these episodes or issues or whatever, sometimes there will be an ad spot, which is not a real ad. It's a fake one that Chris Chan made up. Like a fake Pokemon game that contains Sonichu. Or a fake Axe body spray advertisement. Which, there is a fake Axe advertisement where Chris Chan boasts about not taking baths anymore because you could just pile on the Axe. So that's gold. That's that for that issue, and we're already at 30 minutes. So, oh God, oh Lord. I think this series is going to become only getting through one issue per episode. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't like the sound of that. But that might have to be how it is. Oh well. I just over-explain everything and then I get distracted and I literally stare into nothingness in silence for like seconds straight, which is a bad habit, but maybe the more of these I do, the better I'll get. Who knows? I probably won't, actually. I probably will not. I'm just like this. But I'm just like this. So next time on, we will talk about issue number 3, which is where things actually begin to happen. That's the part that's actually good. We're finally getting to the actual good part. You thought this stuff was cash? You thought that the fake Cherokee Indians was not cash enough? It gets even hotter. Anyways, and also I gotta talk about all of this. I'm excited, and I'm not scared at all. Alright, I will catch you in the next one, my Christorians. That's not a good outro. We're not doing that one. Anyway, bye.